When it comes to exonerations, 2013 was a record year here in the U.S. Last year, there were 87. That is the highest number since 2009, when there were 83. That brings the total number since 1989 to slightly over 1,300. Jeffrey Deskovic served 15 and a half years behind bars for rape and murder, but was exonerated back in 2006 with the help of the Innocence Project. They used DNA to clear convicted criminals. So how do you feel when you keep hearing about another case coming forward where somebody is exonerated?
It's a mixed feeling. On one hand, I'm really happy that someone else's injustice has come to an end. On the other hand, I'm frustrated because as yet the state legislature in New York and in much of the legislatures across the country have not passed reforms to make the system more accurate to stop this from happening.
When it happens once, it's a mistake. When it happens 87 times, it's a systemic problem. It seems that they are finding more and more people just like you. What do you say about a system that seems to be indicating that a lot of people may be behind bars that didn't do anything at all?
The system is broken. I'll tell you, it's a public safety issue as well, because every time the wrong person is sent to prison, it leaves the actual criminal free to strike again, which frequently happens, as did in my case.
What was it like being behind bars, knowing that you were innocent? I mean, because think about it. Every time you talk to somebody, you say, I'm innocent, and they say, we hear that all the time. You're probably not. And then they find out later on that you are innocent. How do you put your life back together?
It's very difficult. You try to, you work with mental health professionals. You try to get up to speed on technology, reestablish family ties, but nobody walks away from a wrongful conviction unscarred.
Do people still look at you kind of strange?
They do. For me, it's not really an issue of guilt or innocence, but it's more like, well, you spent 16 years in prison, so how much of that actually rubbed off on you?
Did you get any money? That's what people always want to know is, how do you put somebody's life back together?
Yeah, I did receive some financial compensation. Let me tell you that there's no amount of money worth being incarcerated wrongfully. Not only would I give it all back, but I would be willing to go into debt for the same amount of money just to have had a normal life and not have had that happen to me.
And that's what I was going to ask you. The prison system itself makes an awful lot of money off of inmates. Is it your feeling that until the prison system has to pay a lot of money to inmates like yourselves that are all of a sudden found to be innocent, that they'll get it and realize we're putting too many innocent people behind bars?
I think that it's not really the prison system. I think it's more like law enforcement and prosecutors. When they start having to personally pay instead of just the state ponying up everything, then I think we'll see some deterrence and the system will be more accurate.
You wrote tons of letters. You told people I'm innocent. They told you, yeah, we've heard that one before. So how did the Innocence Project get involved in your case?
I had an investigator that lobbied them from outside their organization while somebody inside their organization simultaneously lobbied them. We got further DNA testing through the data bank, which not only reaffirmed my innocence, but also identified the actual perpetrator.
Now, in the 1960s, when they were talking about other types of crimes in the civil rights movement, there were African Americans who were crying for justice a long time, and a long time later, justice was finally served. What is it really going to take to get to the bottom of what is happening inside prisons in the U.S. with regards to sending people to jail that didn't do anything?
I think we need to criminalize clear-cut, intentional prosecutorial misconduct, and I think that...
So you think the prosecutors should be charged? If they make a mistake, put them on trial?
I think if they intentionally withhold exculpatory evidence and that leads to a wrongful conviction, they should be charged with a crime.
Jail time?
Absolutely.
So what is the most severe penalty you think a rogue prosecutor should suffer?
It would depend on how much time the wrongfully convicted prisoner spent in prison. I mean, I think it would be fair if the time was proportionate, don't you?
Now, right now, DNA evidence seems to be the thing that is exonerating an awful lot of people. But a lot of states don't have widespread DNA testing. Do you think it's because they don't want to, because it's too expensive, or because they're trying to cover up something that they know is bad?
I think they're trying to cover up something that they know is bad. Especially even in states where they do have laws allowing testing, you see the prosecutors often fight in court. I don't understand that. Either it's going to reaffirm the guilt of the person, in which case the matter is permanently put to bed, or you're going to free someone who's innocent. It's a no-lose proposition.
But why would a state cover up something that they know to be flawed?
Maybe there's misconduct involved, either on the police or prosecutorial level, or maybe both. Maybe they're also thinking about the fiscal implications, that there'll be compensation that's due.
So you say you got the money. You say, though, that you lost 16 years of your life. There's no way in order to get that back. I'm still confused as to how society manages to level the playing field when it gets it wrong.
I think if we had a better system of public defense, that would help.
There's one other question that I want to ask you, and that is, as you look back on all of it, when you were exonerated, it was rare. it's now becoming less and less rare. These stories aren't making headlines anymore. In fact, people are looking at them and they're saying that that's more of the norm than the exception. Is it dangerous that this is now starting to become the norm and not the exception for those that are getting out, that need the money, that need the publicity, that need the system to say we made a terrible mistake, we're going to right this?
No, because as I see it, the amount of exonerations are not showing that the system is getting it wrong more frequently. But what's happening is the injustices are getting corrected at a more higher, more frequent level.
Jeffrey Deskovic, glad you're out, to tell you the truth.
Thank you very much.
I have a feeling that we're not as happy as you are.
No, I doubt it. But when you lose the basics and you get them back, you have a newfound appreciation for even the small things.
Jeffrey, thank you very much. Jeffrey Deskovic.